Assalamualaikum. Welcome to week 4 ending 1 of your project class. Now this week we talked about how does the weather affect us. Now different types of weather can affect us in both good ways and bad ways. Let's see how can the weather affect us. So before we started, first of all, we quickly recalled all the different questions that we have done last week. What actually is weather? What are different seasons, what are different kinds of weather, and what do we mean by temperature, and finally what are weather symbols. We have discussed these questions in class. Weather is actually the day-to-day conditions. There are 4 different types of seasons, which can be spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Then there are different kinds of weather. Within a particular season, there can be different kinds of weather. Like we have summer season right now, and it can be rainy, it can be sunny, it can be windy or cloudy, so different kinds of weather. And then what do we mean by temperature? We measure the weather in terms of temperature. So how do we measure the temperature? In terms of degree centigrade. So for example, what is the weather like today? We can say it is 20 degree centigrade. So that is what the weather, how we say and read the weather. And finally, we talked about weather symbols. Weather symbols are basically pictures or drawings that tell us what the weather is actually like. Okay, so here are some keywords which you should know when we are talking about weather. We talked about seasons, 4 different kinds of seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Then we talk about change of seasons or even change of weather. Then within the different months of the year, there can be different types of season or different types of weather. Like this month right now is August, and the season right now is summer. However, the weather is different. Sometimes the weather is rainy, sometimes the weather is windy, or maybe sunny. So all these different kinds of weather, they affect us. They have an effect on us. So how do they affect us? Let's go further and talk about it. First of all, we like to talk about the sun. How does the sun affect us? So sun makes us feel warm. Sun makes us provide us with sunshine, light, and the sun is stronger during the summer season. And the sun can be very strong, so we should not always look directly at the sun and protect our skin by wearing sunscreen and maybe wear a hat or sunglasses to protect ourselves. Now humans need sunlight to stay healthy because the sunlight gives us vitamin D. That is very important for us humans. And we can also see that some countries, they have a very stronger sunshine than we have. Finally, we also talked about that plants need sunlight to grow, to get bigger. So this is how the sun affects us. The sun can make us feel warm. The sun can even burn our skin if we do not wear sunscreen and we stand in the direct sunlight for longer periods of time. So this is how sun can affect us. Okay, let's move on to the rainy weather. How can rain affect us? What actually rain can do? Rain fills up the rivers and other reservoirs with water that we use in our homes and we drink. So the rain can fill up the rivers and even the lake. Remember the lake we talked about? We talked about Raval Lake near our school. So Raval Lake also gets filled up due to rains. So when it is rainy weather, the water level in Raval Lake is very high. But when there are very less rain, then the water level goes down. The lake becomes less of water. Then moving on, when we talk about rain, animals and birds shelter from the rain. Why do you think animals and birds shelter from the rain? Can you take a guess? Exactly. So animals and birds shelter from the rain because they need to protect themselves from the rain, and they need to protect their babies. And finally also that birds cannot fly when it is raining heavily in the sky. Then there are some places in the world where it does not rain at all, and such places are called deserts. And in such places you can find an animal which is very famous called a camel. Now what's so special about a camel? Do you know an interesting fact about a camel? No? Let's see. Some of you might know it. So the interesting fact about camel is that it can survive in the desert without eating or drinking. How? It stores the food inside its hump. Can you see the hump on its back? It stores food and water inside its hump, and it can live for up to 20 days without food or water, and it uses up this food and water inside its hump and eat from there. Now there are some other places in the world where it rains much more, and such places are called rainforests. And when it is raining, you have to wear waterproof clothes. So it is very important that when you go out in the rain, you wear waterproof clothes, otherwise you can get wet. So some waterproof clothes can be the raincoat or the rain boots or even an umbrella. You need to carry an umbrella outside if you don't have a raincoat or rain boots. Finally, rain is needed so that plants can also grow. So plants also need water to grow. So this is how rain can affect us. And recently it has been raining a lot in Pakistan, and the weather in Karachi has been very rainy, and the houses have been filled up with a lot of water. So this is how the rain can affect us. Rain can also affect us badly, because when it rains a lot and you don't have a proper draining system, then the houses and the roads and all the places around us gets filled up with water, and that can be bad. And finally, now let's talk about how can snow affect us. What actually is snow? Snow is actually frozen rain, and in order to snow, it has to be freezing cold. And we can also make some interesting shapes out of snow. So we can build a snowman out of snow, we can make snowballs and have a snow fight with snow. And next important thing, that there are two poles of the earth. One is the North Pole and the other is the South Pole. Now these two poles have snow on them all year long. So throughout the whole year, they have snow. Moving on, that some snow can be very wet and slushy. When it is fresh snow, it can be very slushy and soft. The moment you hold it in your hand and you press it, it can squish and crush. And finally, the snow melts when the air becomes warmer. When the season changes from winter to summer and the air becomes warmer, the snow starts melting. Finally, I ask you, what kind of clothes do you wear when it is snow? Think for a minute and note it down on a piece of paper. And then pause, play back the video to know the answer. Okay, so when it is snowing, you can wear snow hat, or you can wear snow suit, or you can wear boots, you can wear gloves, you can wear scarves to make yourself feel warm. Okay, so the last weather which affects us are thunderstorms. I know thunderstorms can be very scary for some of us. Okay, so this is basically, can you see these flashes of light? This is called lightning. And thunder is basically the sound you hear when there is lightning in the sky. So thunder is the noise and lightning is the flashes of light you see in the sky. And even when it is lightning and when you hear the thunder, there is a tiny few seconds gap between them, and you can count that gap. So when you hear a thunder or when you see lightning, you can wait for a few seconds to hear a thunder or see the lightning in the sky, and you can count it. And whenever there is a thunderstorm, the cloud is very dark. So can you see this cloud over here? It's very dark gray. So the clouds turn dark. And during the thunderstorm, it usually rains as well. That is very important. And finally, my question to you is, how do you feel when it thunders? So most of us would say that we feel scared or we feel very, very scared or afraid, and we like to hide in certain places. So that is up to you. So some people said that when it is thundering, when it's thundering not too loudly, I'm not scared, but when it thunders very, very loudly, it I get scared. And that's about it. That's what we did. And I've given you a home task for this word puzzle. I hope you enjoy doing it. Have fun. Bye bye.